Hello everybody, welcome back to the show. In the last episode, I showed you that I had been working on creating a mana generation system using the Thermalillies, and of course, the drastic mistake that I made that caused me to lose my Thermalillies. But to start off this episode, I want to show you the other thing I was working on simultaneously while I was working on the Thermalillies, and that is what you see in front of you now, which this is one each of every breedable chicken in the mod pack. 99% sure that I have all of them. I've gone through the list in JEI a couple of times, and I do believe that this is all of the breedable chickens. You know, everything from the glowstone to the redstone, the gunpowder, the manulin, the various colored ones, the metal ones, and coal, all of them, as far as I know. And I've moved them onto this level and crammed them all into this really tiny space. The Colonel would be proud. And the reason I've done that is down here, I have attached Ender IO item conduits to every single one of those chicken nesting pens. And those automatically pull out the items from the chickens and drop them into this storage drawer, the drawer controller. And this drawer controller is attached to, or connected to, I should say, every single storage drawer on this floor. And so all of the items get pulled out of the chickens and placed into the appropriate storage drawer that it goes to. All the way over here as well. Pretty cool. And also the chicken manure and the feathers as well. Now, the eggs from the chickens actually get pulled into this mechanical crafter from Extra Utilities, thanks to the help of an advanced item filter, which if we turn off the NBT data and metadata, it takes just any kind of egg from the hatchery mod, and it drops them into the mechanical crafter, which automatically turns the eggs into fried eggs. I guess I can right click on this. You can see there's the recipe. Basically, if an egg comes in, it'll turn it into a fried egg, and then it'll drop it into this storage drawer here, as you can see. And I've got, well, a lot of them, right? 163 times 64 plus 33, a lot of those going on there. And then this crystal chest here, which is currently empty, this is an overflow. So if one of the storage drawers gets full, the item will instead go into this crystal chest where I can see it, and thus then I can decide if I want to, you know, either turn the drawer into maybe a compacting drawer like I've done here for the bone meal, or, you know, maybe I can add in upgrades to increase the amount of storage, or I can actually add something called a void upgrade, which will just cause any additional items that would overflow that particular storage drawer to just be deleted. So for now, you know, I'm kind of going on a case-by-case basis because I'm not exactly sure what items I might want to keep a lot of and what items I might be able to void. But this is the initial setup that I have going right now. Now, I do have a little bit of a problem, and that is, for example, for something like gold here. As you can see, I have the equivalent of a block of gold and 4 gold ingots. If I go look at something like iron, I've got 15 stacks, almost 16 stacks of iron ingots. And the reason that this is a problem is because the gold chicken only creates gold nuggets. The iron chicken creates iron ingots. And so even if they were producing at the same rate, I'm only getting 1/9 of the output from a gold chicken. So for that reason, I think that I am going to add a couple more, if not more, gold chickens up here to produce more gold. I seem to be needing a lot of gold, and I think that that will be useful. On a similar note, Draconium. The Draconium chicken also produces nuggets instead of ingots, and I haven't actually never used the Draconic Evolution mod before, but I'm guessing it's probably going to require a lot of Draconium ingots. So I think I'm going to add more of the Draconium chickens. And I think that I'm also going to add more of the Terra Steel chickens. I'm not going to worry about the Mana Steel. Both the Mana Steel chicken and the Terra Steel chicken both create nuggets as opposed to the ingots. The Mana Steel, though, is easy to make, right? Like, it's just a matter of dropping iron into a mana pool. It's pretty simple. Terra Steel, on the other hand, is a little bit more of a complicated process. So I feel like if I don't have to make Terra Steel the normal way, I might as well get it from the chicken, so I might add a few more chickens to get more Terra Steel ingots. The other things that create nuggets are the Ardite, Cobalt, Manulin, and Pig Iron. I'm not going to worry about those just yet because as far as I'm concerned, they just make the various items for Tinker's Construct. I'm not really sure about the Pig Iron, but these items I know are for Tinker's Construct, but I'm not really seeing much of a need to use them, so I'm not as worried about those. So anyway, that's what I've done as far as the chickens go and what I plan to do with the chickens. Let's go downstairs. Here I have expanded. I've added more to the capacitor bank. As you can see now, it stores a total of 30 million RF, and I've added a second culinary generator so that it will produce a little bit more power. And so I can just fill these up with these fried eggs and they produce power. Again, it's not the fastest method of producing RF power, but it seems to work for now, and I think that that's okay. Eventually, I will run Ender IO conduits from that fried egg generator, that's crafting, automatic crafting thing there. I'll run Ender IO conduits down to those culinary generators to automatically make the power and supply it with things. I'm going to go ahead and grab 4 lava eggs and 4 water eggs and show you the final thing that I've made, which is on the very bottom, and that is this Tinker's Construct smeltery. And right now, the only thing I'm using it for is to make obsidian. I can dump lava eggs or lava into this seared tank, water eggs or water into this seared tank, and they will combine down into creating the obsidian, liquid obsidian, molten obsidian, I guess they call it. And it's a little bit slow in draining there, but there you go. And then I've got a redstone clock, which just automatically pours it out, and then once it solidifies, just gets pulled out automatically and put into this storage drawer here for obsidian. So yes, that is what I had been working on while I was also working on Thermalillies. So the first thing I'm going to do right now is create new Thermalilly flowers. And what I want to do is make the floating variant of the Thermalilly flowers. And if we go look at the floating Thermalillies, it's as simple as... Oh, there's no recipe. Oh no. Maybe I can't make floating Thermalillies. That would be a bummer. Let me go see here. Thermalilly. Use... Oh, wow. Well, there does not seem to be a recipe to make the floating version of the Thermalillies. I thought it was you combined it with something. Let me take a look real quick in... Oh, I don't know if I ever made a Lexica Botania, so let me do that first. Okay, so I made some glimmering yellow flowers, and that's just combining yellow flowers with glowstone, any type of flower with glowstone, regular Botania flowers. And combining those with pasture seeds and dirt makes the floating yellow flowers. So I'm going to make 4 of those. And then you're supposed to be able to combine any floating flower with any generating flower, and that creates the floating Thermalilly. Yeah. So I don't know why floating Thermalilly, I'm hitting the R key in JEI, and that's not showing up. And I don't know why that is. But anyway, so that created 4 floating Thermalillies, which is what I wanted it to do. And so then I'm going to place these where I had the Thermalillies before, like so. I do believe that the Thermalillies act, the floating Thermalillies do act differently. At least I'm hoping so. I'm just spent some time and effort in making those, and I kind of hope it does work. So let's go ahead and get some lava, and I also want to get a button. Button, who's got the button? I guess we'll have to make a button like that. All right, so we're gonna go up And what I want to do is, this thing is still active, which it can be active. I'm just going to destroy that. And I want to put the lava eggs in there like so. Put a button on it like that. And now this should... It's going to take it because this is, I've used up some of this mana. It's not completely full. So I'm going to run... Okay, so it put the lava. This Thermalilly picked it up. It's running. I'm going to have to run some tests to make sure that this is actually going to do what I want it to do. And I will be back. I realized that I forgot to mention here in my storage area with all my storage drawers, I have this one little silver chest over here, and this silver chest has a stack of each of the, again, the breedable chickens, at least as far as I hopefully am aware that I have them all. And again, they're all with their perfect stats of 10, 10, and 10. But yes, this is sort of my egg bank, if you will, sort of like a seed bank, but an egg bank that I can make more eggs. I'm going to go ahead and start making some extra gold, draconium, and terra steel chickens. All right, well, this has worked the way I expected it to and the way I wanted it to, which is that the floating Thermalilly does act as a kind of a block in that it, as you can see, it's blocking in that lava source block there. It has, it's on its cooldown phase, which you can tell from its sort of the smokiness that's coming out of it. But you can also see that it's actually full of mana because everywhere that the stuff can go is also full. And so this created a lava source block and nothing is happening. This is what I wanted to do. Now the next thing I wanted to check was what would happen if this triggered again. And so there's 14 here. If I click it again, aha, I lost a lava egg, which is not quite what I would really want to have happen. It does mean that every time I would lose, you know, if all of my mana was full, I would actually end up losing the lava eggs. Not terribly ideal, but I think for now it's something that I can work with. So anyway, this is now working the way that I want it to, and I can get it back up and running and going when I'm ready to do that. That's going to do it for this episode. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them for me down below. I do appreciate all of your suggestions and criticisms and anything else that you may have to say. And of course, as always, feel free to just shout out hi if you want to shout out hi. As always, I thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time.